Italian villas are steeped in a romantic history that begins with stone, often centuries old, weathered but enduring. These walls whisper stories of noble families and timeless gatherings. Architecture is not just structure in Italy, it's soul. And that soul is the first layer of every Italian interior's unique personality. From arched doorways to vaulted ceilings, structure defines emotion in Italian interiors. These architectural elements do more than shape space, they shape experience. A villa's grand archway doesn't just lead to another room, it invites you into a memory, a passage, a mood wrapped in timeless elegance. No Italian villa is complete without the grounding presence of terracotta tiles or travertine floors. These natural materials bring warmth and texture underfoot, balancing ornate furnishings with a raw, earthy beauty. Their imperfections are part of their charm, aging gracefully, just like fine wine. Velvet in Italian interiors is more than a textile, it's a statement. Whether in deep burgundy or imperial green, it cloaks sofas, drapes windows, and wraps headboards in sumptuous splendor. It invites the hand to linger and the eye to appreciate. Velvet brings comfort and confidence to every luxurious corner. isn't just an accent in Italian interiors, it's a language. Found in carved mirror frames, ornate cornices, and delicate detailing, gold leaf offers a touch of divine light. When paired with velvet and marble, it conjures the classic drama and dignity of the Renaissance, right in your living room. Italian kitchens are deeply rooted in tradition but don't shy away from sophistication. A luxurious villa kitchen marries rustic charm with polished elegance, open hearths, artisan tile backsplashes, and custom cabinetry with patinaed brass hardware. It's a space made for both slow cooking and lavish entertaining. Frescoes are not reserved for cathedrals in Italy. They often adorn the grand walls and ceilings of villas, depicting pastoral scenes, mythological figures, or heavenly skies. These painted narratives infuse a space with artistry and heritage, reminding every guest that this home belongs to a cultural legacy. No feature says villa quite like a Corinthian column. Whether structural or purely decorative, these sculptural elements introduce drama and classicism. They stand as pillars of history and design, lifting ceilings and expectations alike. In the Italian interior, every detail earns its place and its flourish. Venetian mirrors, with their intricate etching and elegant shapes, are the jewels of Italian decor. These pieces do more than reflect, they refract beauty throughout the space. Placed strategically, they enhance natural light and create a sense of depth and glamour in any room they grace. From ornate chandeliers to sculptural bowls, Murano glass brings colorful sophistication to Italian interiors. Born of centuries-old techniques and island artistry, these pieces introduce whimsy and wonder, proving that even the most luxurious homes should have a playful sparkle. Italian salons are spaces of gathering and grandeur. Think carved wood armoires, plush velvet settees, and grand pianos standing sentinel by soaring windows. These rooms are made not only for conversation but for spectacle. In the Italian villa, entertaining is always an elevated affair. marble, in all its veined glory, graces everything from countertops to staircases. In Italian interiors, marble isn't cold, it's alive, with patterns that evoke the movement of water or clouds. It lends weight, luxury, and permanence to the home, grounding each space in a cool, tactile beauty. Italian villa bedrooms are more than sleeping quarters, they're sanctuaries. Expect canopied beds with silk drapes, antique writing desks, and hand-carved armoires. These are rooms designed for both dreams and indulgence, where every detail whispers a lullaby of luxury. Heavy velvet curtains pulled on herringbone wood floors, tasseled tiebacks, and brocade valances, Italian window treatments are never an afterthought. They frame the light with intention, turning every sunrise and sunset into a curated experience of color and shadow. In the world of Italian interiors, age is not a flaw, it's a feature. The patina on a bronze candelabra, the faded edge of a fresco, or the scuffed corner of a gilded chair all tell a story of legacy and love. True luxury, after all, is lived in. A grand staircase in an Italian villa isn't merely functional, it's sculptural. With wrought iron railings, marble steps, and hand-painted risers, these transitional spaces command admiration. Every ascent becomes an experience, and every descent, a deliberate return to beauty. A villa's study or library is a hushed haven of leather, dark woods, and vintage tomes. Baroque-style desks, oversized globes, and velvet reading chairs evoke scholarly grandeur. It's a room for reflection and refinement, a nod to Italy's centuries-old passion for art, philosophy, and poetry. Dining in an Italian villa is an event. Massive wooden tables host elaborate spreads on fine linens, surrounded by carved high-back chairs. Chandeliers gleam overhead while fresh flowers and candles complete the atmosphere. Every meal, whether formal or rustic, feels like a celebration. Italian interiors aren't minimal, they're layered. Antiques meet modern sculpture. Silk pillows rest against time-worn sofas. Every piece is curated not for matching, but for meaning. This is luxury born from love, not of trends, but of timeless taste. Even indoors, Italian decor pays homage to the natural world. Potted lemon trees, terracotta urns, and painted floral motifs bring the Tuscan garden inside. There's a reverence for nature's shapes, scents, and cycles, a seamless transition between landscape and living space. Italian bathrooms are intimate sanctuaries. Think clawfoot tubs near French doors, Carrara marble vanities, and brass fixtures aged to perfection. These are not purely utilitarian spaces. They are for self-care and serenity, where every splash of water echoes centuries of bathing tradition. Italian villas treasure antiques not as relics, but as living artifacts. A 17th-century console table, a faded Persian rug, or a chipped porcelain urn isn't just decoration, it's history. These pieces bring authenticity and gravitas, elevating a home with their quiet presence. Lighting in Italian interiors is carefully curated, from iron lanterns to crystal chandeliers. It's never too harsh, always flattering. The soft glow from sconces or flickering candelabras lends every room a romantic, cinematic quality. Light doesn't just illuminate, it enlivens. Some villas embrace the palatial, borrowing elements from grand Italian palazzi. Double-height ceilings, column-lined hallways, and sweeping balconies create a scale that's as humbling as it is awe-inspiring. These are not just homes, they are personal cathedrals to beauty. Italian interiors lean into color. Deep reds, olive greens, and warm ochres create a palette drawn from the earth and Renaissance paintings. Walls are often lime-washed for texture, producing subtle tonal shifts that feel both organic and regal. This is color with soul. Italian interiors appeal to all senses, including scent. Lavender satchels, rosemary sprigs, and beeswax candles subtly perfume the air. Scent is memory in vapor form, and in a villa, it's the silent element of ambience. A home should not only look divine, it should smell divine too. Whether it's hand-painted tiles, custom mosaics, or embroidered linens, the Italian home values the human touch. Craftsmanship is the ultimate luxury. Each object tells of the artisan's skill and soul, creating a space that is entirely, unmistakably personal. Even in the oldest villas, modern elements find a home. Sleek lighting fixtures, abstract art, or minimalist furniture juxtapose beautifully with historic bones. It's this blend, the bold with the Baroque, that defines the best of Italian interiors today. Italian interiors are not about restraint, they are about reveling in beauty, history, and comfort. Every room is designed for pleasure, whether in a steaming espresso by the window or a slow evening under frescoed ceilings. In Italy, the home is the heart of la dolce vita. To step inside a luxurious Italian villa is to step into a world where beauty is not optional, it's essential. These interiors reflect centuries of craftsmanship, a reverence for tradition, and an unapologetic love of indulgence. In every corner, from velvet chairs to gilded frames, Italy reminds us, life is meant to be lived beautifully.